Dude, I don't know. Everyone keeps asking, everyone's like, and I'm like, literally, she doesn't even know. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like a day by day legit type of thing. And so yeah, she's close, but like, you also have to remember, like,
All right, we need to stop everything right there. While other channels are out here manufacturing completely fake stories about Caitlin Clark quitting and moving to Europe, which never happened, by the way, Sophie Cunningham just dropped the real bombshell that nobody's talking about. And when I say nobody, I mean the channels getting millions of views right now are straight up lying to you about what Sophie actually said. Here's what really happened. Sophie Cunningham went on her podcast and made a confession that should have every WNBA fan asking serious questions about this league. But instead of covering the truth, we're getting clickbait nonsense about Europe departure. That never existed. So let me connect the dots for you, because this story is way deeper than anyone realizes. If you want the actual insider intelligence instead of manufactured drama, hit that subscribe button, because I've been filtering through the noise and the signals Sophie is sending about Caitlin's situation point to something much bigger than an injury update. This is about the WNBA's impossible standards and why Sophie just admitted Caitlin could be playing if it wasn't in the WNBA by now. Let me lay out the roadmap for what we're uncovering here. First, we're breaking down Sophie's actual confession and why she's positioned herself as the league's most expensive truth teller. Then we're examining the systematic information blackout surrounding Caitlin's status. And finally, we're exposing the referee favoritism evidence that Sophie's been fined thousands for revealing. This is the story other channels don't want you to hear. Sophie Cunningham isn't just another WNBA player. She's become the league's unofficial whistleblower, and it's costing her serious money. In 2024 alone, she's been fined over $3,000 by the WNBA for telling uncomfortable truths, $500 for a TikTok criticizing refs, $1,500 for podcast comments about officiating inconsistency, with an undisclosed amount for comments about referee favoritism. But here's what makes Sophie different from every other player. She keeps talking. Most players shut up after the first fine because WNBA salaries only range from $64,000 to $242,000 annually. When you're potentially losing 2% of your entire salary for one comment, you learn to stay quiet. Sophie doesn't care. She's willing to pay the price for transparency. And that brings us to her August 19th podcast confession about Caitlin Clark. While everyone else was asking about return timelines, Sophie revealed something that cuts to the heart of why this injury situation feels different. She said Caitlin's status is day-by-day legit type of thing, and that she doesn't even know when she'll return. But then Sophie dropped the line that changes everything. She could be playing if it wasn't in the WNBA by now. Let that sink in for a second. According to Sophie Cunningham, someone with direct access to Caitlin's situation, the reason Clark isn't back isn't necessarily the severity of her injury. It's the level of the WNBA itself. The physical demands, the elite competition, the standards required just to compete at this level. Sophie elaborated at this level with how deep and how good people are nowadays, which is the best it's ever been. You can't just be good, you had to be on top of your game. But when she's about Caitlin being weak or injury prone, this is about the WNBA standard being so demanding that a player who dominated college basketball and carried an entire league's popularity still has to prove she can compete at this elite level while recovering. But here's where the story gets uncomfortable for the league. While Sophie's being transparent about the impossible standards, we're also getting evidence of systematic favoritism that makes those standards apply very selectively.